welcome back. Well, it's been another week full of sporting action, and like we do every week, we will do a deep dive into the stories that grab the headlines and the upcoming events. For this, we now roped in our senior SABC News sports journalist, Thando Mxoli, and sports analyst, Oshebeng Koonyaditse, joining us on our video line. Perhaps let me start with you, Oshebeng, and very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for joining us. Of course, it's an exciting time for South Africa. Our opening match happening tomorrow against Angola at AFCON. The team is ready. We saw that press briefing earlier on by, Hugo Broos, as well as the captain of Bafana Bafana. What are your expectations going into, first of all, the kickoff that's happening tonight, with the host nation, and of course our I shouldn't say our boys, but Bafana Bafana, in that opening match tomorrow for them and their opener. What are your expectations? What can we look at? I think you are muted, Oshebeng. All right, we can't seem to hear Oshebeng. I don't think there is a sound, that he has sound there, but Thando, let me speak to you. Let me ask you that very same question. I mean, you're sitting here, we know our viewers will be watching on all our SABC platforms. Your expectations?
Starting with tonight's match, look, Morocco are basically a nation that has invested heavily in their sports teams and their sports infrastructure. A lot of people have great things to say about how world-class everything in Morocco is, whether it's medical facilities, training facilities, and also you look at their teams, their women's and their men's teams have literally gone up very nicely. They've done well in terms of improving in world rankings and in performances, and so it's interesting to see how a team that, we always say invest in sport and you'll see the results. Now there's an expectant nation expecting a trophy. Last time around they did very well. We want to see how well this Morocco side can do. They've got a lot of talented players like Hakimi. You want to, again, the home nation has to go as far as possible. So you almost want them to win the opening match just to grow their interest in the tournament. Again, Comoros is not a team we should take lightly. Yes, they're a small nation, but a small nation with big ambitions. They've shown in the past that they can literally go to battle with the best teams in the continent. So again, should be an interesting one. I expect if Morocco have shown they can play on the big stage, I think Morocco should end up winning. And again, just to light up the tournament, look at those facilities. They're beautiful. They can match the best in the world, and that's what you're looking for in a big tournament like this. As for Bafana Bafana, I have been quietly optimistic. Normally when you look at tournaments like this, you see your captain being in a positive mood, vibrant. Even our captain this time, in past tournaments, he was always the one who had the energy about himself. It's been a bit different this time around. He's always talked about how things have not gone as they planned. He was worried about some players not arriving in camp on time. Obviously, the issue with Bogazi and his agent and coach Hugo Broos and how those words, when they talk about, sometimes you say things and you don't realize, you might say it with the best of intentions, but how it lands is different. So intention and impact, I think it had an effect in this Bafana team. But again, this team has shown the quality. They've shown that in the last 24 games they've been unbeaten. They haven't even lost a game this year, for example. So they've shown the quality on the field. And again, in tough times, they've shown that they can rise above that and find the positives within themselves as a squad. Talented bunch of players, and we're expecting a lot from them in their first game against Angola. Yeah,
and just staying on those expectations, I mean, I was listening to some recordings, how the Angolan coach was talking about how good a technical side that they are. With the dynamics that you're just mentioning now in terms of, the things that have been playing themselves out off field for Bafana Bafana, to what extent will issues like that affect their game? Because one of the things that, of course, Coach Hugo Broos was saying in that press briefing in Morocco was that they need to come out strong in this opening match for them so that it basically paves the way, in the other games?
It's crucial. It's
Yeah.
crucial that firstly we win this match against Angola,
Yeah.
because that takes the pressure away from us going to the second match against the most successful team in AFCON history, which is Egypt on Boxing Day. So
Yeah.
again, you wanna control the controllables. This team is very technically sound. They've shown they can get goals despite not having the best of strikers at times. Evidence Mxoli has been an integral part of Hugo Broos's team, but he's not known as a natural goal scorer. He hasn't scored the volume of goals that people expect from a front line man. And again, that speaks to the technical coach and the technical ability of the players. Guys like Apollos Sipombule, Tebogo Mokoena, they've weighed in nicely with the volume of goals. A guy like Ngota has gone away from the country and he's almost improved his play out on the wing there. So again, the Angolan coach is right. This team is technically sound. It's technically very difficult to beat. That's for me is the most important thing. Because if you look at our defense, if you look at the last two World Cup qualifiers, for example, we didn't have our natural central defenders. Gezana was not there. We had to play Ndamana, a young Ndamana who's 20 years old, playing in a crucial World Cup qualifier, and he showed his class. He showed his mettle, his temperament as well. Those are the things that we look for when you're looking at teams that have the potential to win a tournament as big as this.
Yeah. Well, let's reintroduce our guest then, sports analyst Oshebeng Koonyaditse is still with us, joining us on our video line. Oshebeng, we lost you there for a moment, but essentially just pick up for us about what we can expect, firstly, for today's kickoff match, and of course, tomorrow, Bafana Bafana taking on Angola.
Thanks. Good afternoon, Unati. I think Morocco, if you're looking at their performance at the last World Cup, for example, and you look at recently, they have just won the FIFA Arab Cup. You're looking at their junior teams. They went to they performed well at the FIFA Under-17 as well as the FIFA Under-20.
Yeah.
But then this is the same team that did not perform so well at the last tournament, but they are playing at home. The last time they won the tournament was way back in 1976. So there will be a lot of pressure. There will be a lot of expectations on their part. They will take this tournament as a dress rehearsals for the World Cup, hoping to do one better than they did at the last World Cup tournament. So I think one better for them as part of preparations would be to win this tournament.
Yeah.
So I think that pressure will be there for them.
And to what extent, Oshebeng, will some of the dynamics that are playing out off-field, in terms of Bafana Bafana, even the training itself, the training camp being scrutinized, but also the apology by, Coach Hugo Broos, all of those dynamics, I would imagine, have left some form of anxiety, with the team. How bad do you think it has actually, ingrained ahead of this crucial match?
Well, I think to at least what we have seen since the last media briefing by the coach here at home, where he apologized to both Mxoli and his agent, I think they have put that behind them and they are focused. I saw the media briefing this morning. We have been getting reports from their base that everything seems to be going well. Interestingly, a lot of international media especially are not looking at us as favorites, which is, for me, just as well. And when you're looking at the team comprising of at least 14 players from both Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns, with Pirates being the only team in the entire tournament contributing more players, 9 in total. So you're looking at that as a plus because these players know each other from the team. And I know a lot of people like to look at this team and say, well, players are being chosen from only one team or two teams, and the rest of other teams are being ignored. May I remind your audience that Spain won the World Cup, the starting lineup of Spain on the 11th of July in 2010 here at home. They had about 8 Barcelona players. So it's nothing new. We have seen teams that have been successful at the World Cup, being the teams that will probably have 3 or more in the starting lineup from the same club. So it's nothing new really. And I'm sure as a team, we'll probably want to do better than we did the last time when no one expected anything from us.
Yeah, and just before I let you go, as our final, question to you, I mean, I was listening to the CAF president, Patrice Motsepe, yesterday, making some very interesting utterances as it relates to AFCON itself. What are some of your key takeaways? We know, of course, that 7 of the 9 teams that are going to be playing in the World Cup of next year are actually participating in this tournament.
Yes, and we might have the 10th team at the World Cup if Democratic Republic of Congo will do well in the qualifiers. For me, from what President Motsepe said yesterday, the takeaway is for the first time the tournament will be playing after 4 years.
Yeah.
And as part of the build-up to that, we will have at this tournament, the team that will be winning the tournament will get 10 million. That's almost 170 million, 168, 170 million rand, depending on the exchange rate at the time the final will be played. And the other thing for me is the nation leagues. So basically, we are doing what Europe or UEFA is already doing. So the script is the same.
Yeah.
I think it can only do so much in terms of developing football on the continent.
All right, Oshebeng, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. That was a sports analyst, Oshebeng Koonyaditse. Let's continue then, Thando, with you. Of course, it wouldn't be the week ahead if we didn't look at other sporting features and news. Let's talk about, our cricket. So the series loss for the Proteas for men's side and the series victory for the Proteas women's side. Just your comments and analysis on that.
Yeah, the Proteas series was interesting because it almost like the two teams swapped which one's going to play badly. But just looking at it holistically, India's strongest team is the T20 side. South Africa's weakest team is our T20 side. But to see South Africa almost compete and take that series almost to the end, that was nice to see. It was nice to see some players showing that they can play in those conditions. So there are positives to take from that, but again, our T20 side is still a work in progress as far as I'm concerned. Our women's side, Captain Laura Wolfhard is just, she's hit a purple patch. She's leading from the front. She's not the most outspoken of people, but I think she's an easy leader to follow because when she does speak, the weight of words are very important and they're taken seriously. She scores a lot of runs. She's carried this team quite a lot, even through the last World Cup. And it was nice to see that form carry on against the series against Ireland. Ireland, yes, maybe they're not the strongest team in world cricket, but what we need is the consistency that our team needs to play against very credible opposition as often as possible. And again, this was one of those things that Cricket South Africa need to be applauded for trying their best in a very difficult cricket calendar because money seems to be directing where a lot of fixtures will go. England, Australia, and those guys almost get the bulk of the fixtures because of commercial reasons. Their markets are bigger, their audience is bigger. So again, it's nice to see Cricket South Africa saying when the men's team is active, the women's team will be active. Yeah. And again, it's nice to see our girls playing very well and showing that they can compete with the best in the world. And again, it's very encouraging to see all of that.
Absolutely. All right, let's wrap it up now with rugby. The Stormers, the Sharks playing very well Saturday.
Lions they put up a very good fight against a very informed Stormers side. The Stormers team is #1 in the RC, and that's because of good reason. They've beaten everyone they faced. The Lions almost gave them a bit of a scare, almost equalizing right at the end. If you look at the Sharks-Bulls match, that was surprising for me because the Bulls dominated the match, but on the scoreboard, the Sharks had the points that they need. It was also nice to see a packed stadium. It's almost like a very foreign concept in South Africa to see people watching rugby at this time of the year in December. But Kings Park was almost filled to capacity last night, and they were entertained to some really quality rugby, Springboks all over the park. And again, it's really, really encouraging to see that our teams are getting better and better in the United Rugby Championship. And I think in the Stormers, we have a team that is a contender to win the tournament at the end. They really have been playing very well. The environment John Dobson has created there has been really encouraging, and that's the kind of thing we want to see. It's almost like an extension of what the Springbok project is about.
All right. Mr. Mxoli, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Thando Mxoli there, of course, just helping us unpack and seeing what has been happening on the sporting front. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more news for you after this. Stay with us.